So man, now there's something like really sinister about all this. So there's like kind of like a conspiracy or something going on. Is it really worth going to a dungeon to get your job back? Probably not. We're gonna call this the Risewood. Use Solodark supplement, the Sandbox Generator, Perilous Wilds, Preface Play. Hey everybody. So I wanted to show you how I go about starting playing Solodark, the Solo Game Master's Guide by Geek Gamers. And this is a great read. It's really about kind of the process that she goes through and what she thinks about. But part of that is thinking like a solo GM and the mindset that you get in. Everything is playing. So if you're getting involved with an RPG rule set in any way, you are playing. You're going through rules and thinking about what to do, downloading a PDF, and not doing anything more than that. If that's all you do, it's not a waste of time. You're still playing, you're exploring, you're discovering. So if you make characters, you're still playing. If you read rule sets, but you don't run sessions with them, you're still playing. And so a lot of people like to say, prep is play. And so keep that in mind when you're playing a solo RPG. It could be just world building. You could just be thinking about it. You could be reading the rules. You're still playing an RPG when you do that. You are enjoying it. You are interacting and engaging with it. So today we are going to be looking at building a world. Solo RPG choice is Shadowdark, which is, I'm only this far in the rules. I haven't gotten through the whole rulebook yet. So, and you don't have to get through the whole rulebook to play an RPG. I like going through it. It's Solodark supplement, which comes with Shadowdark. Something I really like in here is this section that says, I need a, and then it gives you all these resources for different things that you might possibly need for your game. So for Wilderness, and I think I'm gonna go with Sandbox Generator because I'm pretty familiar with that one. So we have the Sandbox Generator and we have the Sandbox Generator Biomes expansion. Okay, so Sandbox Generator, when you use it to create a world, they have a really good standard procedure that you go through. And I'm just gonna open up here and show you, but basically what you'll do is you'll roll for a hex and then you will in a circle go around and create like a hex flower, and then you'll go through in like a snowflake pattern and you'll generate the hexes for that, and then you kind of fill in the blanks for those last little hexes, and you can kind of just keep building out as you go through it that way. So let's go through this process, and we will be doing this with the expansion, which is the same thing, but the expansion adds biomes. So basically with the expansion, instead of just the temperate climates, you also have cold climates, which are like in Skyrim, or you have that hot climate, which is more like your, sword and sorcery, Conan the Barbarian, deserts, jungles, that kind of thing. I'm going to follow this pattern, and we will just randomize it depending on if it's going to be temperate, cold, or hot. And this is something that's fun to do in solo RPGs. If you're not sure, just kind of go with the random thing. So that is going to be cold. So we're going to be doing a cold kind of Skyrim style world. All right, so let's roll for our very first hex. All right, so we already got a 5. So that will be an evergreen forest. And I'm just gonna pick a hex on the map. And what I'm gonna do is, just to make it a little bit faster, is I'm gonna just draw a symbol. So just like a tree, and that tells me that's a forest. And what we'll do is for the next hexes, starting from the top, we are going to roll on 1 through 5. It's going to be the same as the previous hex, but on a 6 through 10, it will be something different. Okay, so a 6 is going to be a moor. Right, so I'm going to just do kind of like a little mound for a moor. Then a 7 will be evergreen forest. I'm just going to go in a circle pattern like this. So that's the same as the last hex. All right, going back, same as previous hex. So we got more snowfields here. And then going out again, 0 would be frozen peaks. So we've got kind of a mountainy area over here. So I'll just kind of draw those right there. And then at this point, we are going to go in that snowflake pattern, starting with this one, where the previous hex is going to be the one from before. So basically, if we get a 1 through 5, it's going to be whatever this hex is, like that would be a forest. But if we get a 6 through 10, it will be something different. All right, we got ourselves frozen peaks, more mountains, tundra, and this is jumping down to here now. So we got tundra right there. Just kind of down to flat. 7, which is evergreen forest. 4, which is same as previous hex. So this is going to be more snowfields out here. And then the last thing is, now we've made kind of this snowflake pattern. Then we're going to fill in the blanks of these hexes that are in between sections using the hex before it as the previous hex. So this first one is going to be a 2. Same as previous hex. So that is moors. Moors. So looking at that, with the previous hex being mountains, still mountains, we have more frozen peaks. 0 is frozen peaks, lots of mountains. And then down here, we have same as previous hex. So this would be forest. And then we still have 2 hexes left. So let's go with this one. 2 is going to be previous hex, more tundra. So it doesn't look like much right now. We're going to finish drawing out this map. And really, this is all you need to start with. I like to just do these 2 kind of rows of the hexes around the central hex. And that's all I start with. And if I'm going to explore further into the world or come up with something that's going on outside of that, at that point I will start generating more of the world. But right now, this is just going to be our focus. After you've done that, you are going to then go over and you're going to start filling it out with features. And you're going to go in this pattern again, where you start there and then you go clockwise going around, going up, and then going clockwise all the way around. You will populate it with different things. So here are kind of some symbols you can use, and you'll just roll the dice to figure out what's there. And then it recommends with a traditional campaign, if you're doing an old school style campaign, which is what I'm going to be doing, then you will first have a village in the first hex, and then the second hex will always have a dungeon. So we don't even need to roll. We can just put those in. We're going to have some kind of a settlement. So we'll just, actually, you know what, let's put it in the moors right there. I like it. I like the idea that there might be some, you know, again, thinking about Skyrim here, that there might be some like barrows. So for each of the hexes, we're going to roll a d6. On a 1 through 3, it's a landmark. On a 4, it's a settlement. On a 5 layer, on a 6, a dungeon. Settlement on this next hex, interesting. So we've got like 2 little neighboring villages outside. Then in the next one, we've got a lair. Okay, so we'll draw kind of a little monster head for the lair. And we've got another settlement. So they're a pretty populous area. Lots of towns, villages. All right, 3 is a landmark. So landmarks, the symbol for landmarks is this flag. I like to use a question mark. If you've ever played, you know, like The Witcher or other open world style video games, then, you know, there's basically this thing out there in the world and you don't know what it is until you go find it. So I like to just put a question mark there. All right. And then the next one will be another landmark in the mountains. Okay, so we've done our first initial circle, and up to this hex and then move forward, we've got another landmark. Peace. There's a landmark. Nothing wrong with that. And we've got a layer right here in these peaks. And so something that I'm thinking of, just seeing that I've got 2 layers right next to each other, is maybe there's some kind of an interaction in this world between these different monsters that live here. You know, maybe they don't like each other, or maybe they actually work together. Maybe there's some kind of a relation there. But that's something to keep in mind, is here in this layer, they are aware of each other and they have some kind of a relationship that we don't know about yet. All right, continuing onwards. Settlement in the tundra. Maybe this is like a nomadic encampment or something. Peaks, we've got landmark. In the forest down here, we've got another landmark. In the forest over here, we've got, a dungeon. Very cool. It's always fun to have options. I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of dungeons. All right, and then we've still got these last hexes going through them. And we've got another settlement. a landmark. All right, yeah, and there's one left with the more. Lots of landmarks. That's cool. Lots of things to explore and things to find. So it's starting to look good. We're going to flesh out these settlements a little bit more. And for our first one, we're going to say that this is a village. So we're going to just make it 2 squares right here. Yep. So the first one's always a village. And then we're going to go to the second one, which is a hamlet. So just 1 house. That's good. And then we'll go to the third one there. That is a city. Wow. So there's a big city here. And we'll put down, let's keep going. Or castle. Okay. And then right there, 6 is an abbey. Draw that one. It uses the leaf symbol. I'm going to do like a little church symbol. So let's see here, like a steeple, and then maybe like a little cross symbol on it. So there's our abbey. One last settlement over here, so let's roll to see what that is. All right, it's a village. Let's go to the next step, which is, this is really cool. So there's a political map and factions, and so we're gonna kind of figure out how these different places relate to each other. How, like how I was talking about these 2 monster groups earlier, you know, how do they relate to each other? How do they see each other? Is this village friendly with this city? Is this village in this hamlet over here get along? This city is going to have some influence with the spaces around it. And so I guess where we see a potential for conflict is there's this city and there's this castle. And so this castle has influence of these hexes around it, and the city has influence of these hexes around it. So on a 1, 2, or 3, they're kind of in the same group there. Yep, so I rolled a 1. So they actually are kind of the same. The noble, the duke, or whoever it is, lives in this castle that the city basically falls under with, like, gives fealty to the duke. And so now we're going to roll for the monsters, since they kind of have their influence, to see on a 1, 2, or 3, they are friends, they're friendly, and on 4, 5, or 6, they do not get along. Okay, so they are also kind of, you know, linked together. They're friendly. The abbey friendly with this faction of the city and the village. Yes, they are. So it's symbiotic. The abbey, the castle, and the city, they all kind of get along together. They coexist with each other in a good way. Okay, so at this point, I have my kind of initial map created. I have, you know, some villages. I have a couple dungeons. I have an abbey. I have the castle, and I have a city. And so now I'm going to kind of just draw the map out a little bit more and kind of flesh it out a little bit more. So okay, so we've got our maps, and you know, I know it doesn't look like much, but hey, I made it and I'm happy with it. So we're now going to create some names for the places on this map, and this is probably what's going to give it the most life in terms of coming up with things. So we're going to go to the naming areas, and we're going to start naming our settlements. Okay, so it talks about rolling a d30 on this table, which gives you kind of a name pattern to put together for the names. Our starting village in the very middle, which is where we're going to start in the game. We're going to give that a name, and let's roll. I don't have a d30 actually, but there is a method to use a d30 if you don't have it. I used to have a d30. I don't know what happened to it. So a d3 and a d10 together. So Val and roll on the D table. So let's just roll a d20 and a d4 together. We got a 16 plus 4 is 20. So Unveri, Val Unveri. Okay, that is the name of our first village. All right, Val Unveri. Right there. And let's do it with this hamlet now. So we got a 9. So DA. 15. So Irar. 24. Post Irar. Post Irar. You know what? That gives me an idea. Post makes me think post office. And so why not? This little hamlet is actually the equivalent of whatever the post office would be in this world. They take messages, they send letters, they are the people that go through the land, and they deliver these messages between the kings and the rulers and people of power. So this is the Arar post, and that is literal post, the Arar post. Okay, going out to this tundra village. Let's see what we got here for the name. 29. Got 5. Child at Enso. And I know that these names aren't meaning much to us, but it could just be that this is the way that the land names its places, and they're named after maybe an ancient language or something. All right, now for the big city. So let's figure out its naming pattern here. It's just going to be CA. So looking to C, we got first names and titles with the D20 table. 12, which is king. Okay, interesting, good. King, and then A, so it's a building. So another D30. Man. 28, King Tower. King Tower. Okay, that's the name of the city. King Tower. Alright, coming down to Castle. Okay, so castles get named, and we're gonna go with the D30. Man, I gotta go get a D30. All right, so that'll be 19 light, and the second part is going to be 13 Lightmoor. Okay, Castle Lightmoor. Huh, that's funny. Kind of like Blackmoor, right? So Castle Lightmoor. And for the Abbey. So the name of the Abbey, and this is the cool thing about Sandbox Generators. There's a whole generation section for each of these things. So this is going to be 7, Our Lady of D3. So this is the Abbey of Our Lady of Mercy, and that gives me an idea as to what the kinds of theology might be in this part of the world. What people believe in, and so they worship either a saint or a god that is Our Lady of Mercy. So let's go to the dungeons now. Closest to the village of Balton 3. Here's a name generation for the dungeons. So we've got the Secret Pits. This dungeon that's in the south. And the Scarlet Tomb. Okay, Scarlet Tomb. Sounds interesting. And then for the landmarks, we don't actually have to roll these until we explore them. So that's kind of the nice thing about doing it with this question mark approach is, there's this sense of discovery that you can go out there and find this thing in the game. Okay, so going to the Lairs, we're going to go back to our biomes expansion because we're playing in a cold biome. And so looking here, we have the forest, and then we have some frozen peaks. Just roll that twice. 4 and 3 is 7. So we've got stags. Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. So we've got a stag, a stag lair. Interesting. We'll figure it out. And then for the frozen 4, 9, the Draugar. Okay. That's really interesting that there would be stags and Draugar. If you remember, we said that they're allied or they're kind of, friendly with each other. So I wonder if maybe these stags are kind of like guardians, guardians of the dead, guardians of the ancients, and that the Draugar are, they are the dead warriors of the past that are in these tombs. Just because it doesn't make sense at first doesn't mean that you can't make a connection or you can't think of an interesting twist on it. Sandbox Generator doesn't have a way, as far as I know, to name kind of the general areas of the land. There's a different resource for that. All right, so this is the Perilous Wilds. It was created for Dungeon World, but you know what? This thing is awesome, and it's great. There's a lot of good stuff in here. And one of the things that it does really well is it gives you names for all the different kinds of places that you could have in your world. Okay, so here are region names and place names. So let's name, for example, just these peaks. So 6 is going to be the place of the noun. 41. The whole of silver. The whole of the silver. You know what? I'm gonna just go with it and drop the whole. I'm gonna go with silver mountains. Then let's name this kind of this big forest that's in the middle here. 39. Forbidden. 69. Interesting. So again, a slight adjustment. King Tower, Queen. I'm gonna call this the Queenswood. So Queenswood. You don't have to go exactly with what you roll on the table. You can just take an idea from it and go with what sounds better to you. So we've got King Tower City, and then we've got some tundra here, or some snowdrifts here, and then we have the Queenswood Forest. And we've got a stag layer in there. We've got the Dragar layer in the mountains. We have this encampment, or this village called Trodansal, and I'm going to say that this is home to some kind of a different kind of people that live there on the tundra that are native to this land. We've got the Scarlet Tomb Dungeon down here. We've got Castle Lightmoor, which King Tower swears fealty to. We have Our Lady of Mercy Abbey, offers services to both the people of King's Tower and the court of Lightmoor. And then we have Valtenbury, which is our starting village. And then we have our Arar Post, which will have some kind of a role in our story. And then let's do a couple more names. So let's do the tundra out here. So this would be the blue part. Okay, blue heart tundra. I like it. And then let's name this kind of foresty area that's south of King's Tower. We have the Queenswood up here. What's this foresty area to be? We have 5, which is 65. The Rise of Souls. Huh. All right. We're gonna call this the Risewood. No, I can call it that. Yeah, Soul Rise Forest. I'm still 12, somewhere deep down. And let's name these moors right here. So we'll go back to our table one more time. 52, which is the meadow. All right. So they call these moors the meadow. Maybe that's a joke. I think that, or it's just, there's not a whole lot out there. It's just kind of a hilly, hinterland type area. Blue Heart Tundra, the meadow, which are moors. And then we've got the Silver Mountains, the Queenswood, Stag Layer in the Queenswood. They're the protectors of the Dragar, live in tombs within the Silver Mountains. Kind of a nomadic people that live out here in the tundra. We have the Scarlet Tomb to the south of King's Tower in the Solrise Forest. Let's name this mountain area. It's kind of by itself, so I think it deserves a name. 12. The adjective noun. 75. 35 is the shattered area of Solrise Forest. Let's go. I like shattered peak. Maybe it's just one big mountain. And there's something kind of ominous about this mountain, something mysterious about it. Okay, so once I've gotten my map established, I'm going to think about it a little bit, and I'm going to kind of think about this establishes kind of a place to play in. It gives me a sandbox. I know that I'm going to probably start my characters or heroes here, or, it doesn't have to be here. It could be that they have been, they've been chosen or hired to work for the Iran Post, and they have a message they need to deliver. This is just another way I could take this. They have a message they need to deliver. What about needing to deliver a message would take them to the secret pits? So this might be a good time for, like an oracle question. So let me think about that. Not looked at it yet, but let's look at the Solodark oracle table. Perfect. Okay. So let's do a verb and a noun. So what would cause our heroes to need to go to the secret pits, our party? and it somehow is connected to the Iran post. 94 and 49. So 94 is change, and 49 is connection. Change connection. Okay, so connection makes me think of like a relationship. Two people change a connection, so change a relationship or change the connection between two individuals. And so our heroes previously were the equivalent of mailmen for the area, and they have been fired. They've been fired over something that isn't their fault, and because of that, something is now driving them to go to the secret pits. Maybe there's evidence. Man, is it really worth going to a dungeon to get your job back? Probably not. Fired as postal workers, and now they are going to go to the secret pits. They worked for the Iran Post. The relationship there has changed. They've been fired from their jobs, and not only have they been fired from their jobs, they have been sentenced to go to the secret pits to work in servitude. So they've been kind of almost maybe falsely imprisoned, is the thing. So they've been sent to the secret pits to work there, and that will be where our adventure begins, is with them in the secret pits, which makes a lot of sense because I'm thinking of running this like a gauntlet, which is like a funnel type adventure for Shadowdark. So yep, they pissed somebody off, delivered the wrong letter or made some kind of a mistake that was outside of their control, and now they've been sentenced to the secret pits, which is a secret. Lightmore keeps it a secret from the city, right? That's why it's called the secret pits. It's like the pits of despair in Princess Bride. And so they are going to be starting off in the secret pits and trying to escape what has befallen them there, getting out of the secret pits. So man, now there's something like really sinister about all this. So there's like kind of like a conspiracy or something going on with Lightmore and why they're doing this. And that'll be part. Hope that it demonstrated to you that, you can start from a blank piece of paper and you can slowly build out off of that, and that you can come up with things. But yeah, this gives me both a dungeon to start in, a reason for being there, a mystery to uncover, and then several places to kind of explore along the way. And there may be new things that kind of take the hero sideways for a spin. So, all right, we will finish it off there. Thanks for watching.